let's kick it then. Are we good? So this is where we're going today. Let me get you all get your faces out of the way so I can see. We're going to give you a tour with some real talk on the AI Copilot tool we've been building, show you some brand new course curriculum, the new AI search chat buddy, we hope, even though it literally just like disappeared 5 minutes before this call. So we're going to see if Erica can go figure out what's going on. The Earn and Learn Accelerator, and some special opportunities for those of you that are not collective members. Okay, so who has seen this? Maybe you were in a business school or whatever. The technology adoption curve, right? There's a few people in the beginning that are innovators, more become the early majority starts to adopt, late majority, and then you have laggards, right? So if you've read my book, you probably remember, I think in the introduction, I talk about this story about how when I was 14 years old and we're out hanging, which is basically, I pulled up some old retro photos to show you. So basically you would put this hay in these big old cribs, it's all loose, and you had to pitch it off by hand, every mouthful that went into a cow's mouth, right? Like it was very physical work. And so this is, you can see the haystacks behind the crib here, or behind the wagon. And anyway, so there came a time where, oops, I just put the chat way too big. My grandpa had passed away, my best friend, and my dad is doing this all himself, feeding 500 cows every day, no matter the weather. And it got to be way too much. So he really needed to adopt new technology, which had been around for a while, which was putting your hay in bales. And then you use a tractor, this picture on the left, to literally, the tractor feeds the hay for you and you don't have to physically do it. So if you put us on the technology adoption curve, the noble family, we would be here. Like, hardcore skeptics, laggards. Like I know one other rancher at all who is still putting up hay loose and not now putting it in bales. So that's where we fell. Now, when it comes to AI, I've had this curiosity from when it kind of became more like it became mainstream conversation in December of last year, feels safe to say. So I was like, okay, where do I fall on this technology curve? And so I had a lot of kind of false starts in the last, like from December through about late June. And I was like, you know what? It's just not flowing. Like when it makes sense, it will make sense. And so when I bought 500 copies of Dan Martell's book, Buy Back Your Time, throw in the chat if you got a copy, because we have a bunch of unicorns here. So we bought 500 copies, and that included going to the author, Dan Martell's house, for this 2-day mastermind. And if you look at the makeup of this group, there are 3 women, but really only 2 of us were actually at this event out of like 25 dudes. They were all like, they're all running huge, huge, huge businesses. Like I was definitely the little fry. But what I took away from that was they actually finally distilled like all of the noise around how they are using AI in their coaching and community businesses. And it like all of that jump started everything that we're going to be talking about for the next 6 months. So one of which was sitting at dinner, meeting this guy. I asked him for a photo of himself, and Chris sent me this picture, which I was like, yes, I can so relate to that. As a skier, I just personally wouldn't be like that far off the ground, but I appreciate the sport. So he was literally working with grant writers in Canada to write custom AI prompting software to help write applications faster, and it was working. And so we talked about it, and I realized like, hey, what you're trying to do is very cool, but it's not actually scalable for all the different types of grant applications. Do you want to collaborate? And that's where we found ourselves. So if you take Chris's team, which is Beta, they're here at the very front end of this curve, right? Innovators, tech enthusiasts. They're going to be at the front pioneering. I would put ourselves, like myself and where I lead from, as an early adopter with one hoof in like being a pragmatic person, right? Like I'm cautiously curious, wanting to check things out, see how it goes, but wanting to have a partner that can be a leader and an expert so we can go figure this all out together, right? So I brought to Chris 3 questions. 1, can AI help our members get paid client work faster? Because that's what I'm like most obsessed about, because I think it's very important for you to make money learning how to do this work. 2, can AI help our members deliver better work? And 3, can AI help our members write winning grant proposals? So we decided to focus on the first 2 pieces since he was already working on the software for grant writing, and we were going to come into that later. So we started with really question number 1 and 2. So what I thought I would be presenting you literally 2 days ago was going to be like my nice clean living room. Everything is so dialed. It's immaculate. Here's this perfect demo. It's ready for you, right? And then really, this is what it looks like. Like it's a messy living room. Okay. Welcome to the mess. And if like realizing that actually getting this tool where I need it to be and where I wanted it to be for you, like it's not quite there yet. But like this is the real talk version. So like if so long as you're down to like learn grant writing's messy living room and like not pass judgment, then we can go in and do a tour. So how are we feeling about this? Ready to go see it? And make sure you're hydrating. Yes. Okay. Here we go. So this is the tool. Do we have some beta testers here, by the way? I think we should probably. We've got like 20 beta testers are in there. Jess says yes. Okay, so basically this is the tool. So if you look on the left-hand side, these are all of the different either inputs and then outputs, sort of structured like Slack or Circle. And then on the right side is like where the work happens. So let's see, where does Zoom have that thing where I can draw? Okay, does this work? We're going to find out. Yep. Okay, we're going to try this and see how well this works out. Okay. So this is all about finding clients, right? How can we use this tool to help research and figure out where are there more organizations that we could work with, et cetera. This is like doing the work, whether you work for a nonprofit and you're doing this in-house for them, or if you are doing this as a consultant. So let's see if I can get it to like clear all drawings. So we'll start here, but this is what I'm going to tell you essentially. So anyway, you enter your business, your brand guidelines, kind of how you want to sound as a writer. Then you come into your business information, right? Like I dropped in who I am, that I'm a grant writing consultant. These are the services that I offer. Here are the target organizations I serve. So I put in who I used to write a lot of grants for, municipal governments and tribes pursuing capital infrastructure grants, et cetera. And I added in a second target profile, which is environmental nonprofits. So then I come down to the LinkedIn optimizer, and I already generated and ran these, but otherwise, if you didn't and you just started, you'd see a generate button. But so this is it writing a profile summary for me. I had it rewrite. This would be like what would go in your headline if you were having it, creating your LinkedIn profile, et cetera. And so if I didn't I'm going to skip this and not go into it in great detail. Just recognize like this is kind of fun if you're just getting your LinkedIn profile up. So then came the organization finder. So we've got basically all of these different ways of searching and coming up with ideas of where can I go find organizations, whether it's LinkedIn search terms, Google search terms, Facebook groups, social media hashtags, and then what I really like is the professional network sites. So let's say, I'm looking at this and it's like, okay, if I really, what do I want to go look at? Well, what I'm going to do is go down to professional network sites. So here it is telling me like, hey, here's all these professional organizations that are in that target market that I serve. So maybe I see if there's events I could go to. Do they have, I could go to these websites and see like, hey, is this an appropriate place for me to find people? Like, this is interesting. The Alliance of Nonprofit Mailers, like who would have thought, right? But let's say that I don't love, let's see, how do I want to edit this? I need to figure out, I'm going to go to inline prompt and give it some instructions to pull up something different, which is how you're used to using, if you've been tinkering with ChatGPT, you're used to having that conversation. And that's what's happening here. So let's say if I was like, can you help me find more options that serve, let's see, environmental type organizations. And I'm asking it, and it's going to regenerate based on the prompt. It's a little bit slow when I screen share, so we'll see how quickly this takes. And if I'm missing your questions in the chat, how do you become a beta tester? Yeah, we can get you on the list of people that are in that. Did it regenerate or is it still thinking? My goodness. It's also a storm out, of course, here in Alaska, so I feel like the internet is just not speedy. There it goes. So here it is. And it just gave me like a bunch of new opportunities, right? Like here, which feels actually way better. Like these are really interesting organizations that either they themselves might need to have grant writers, or they would have members that probably need grant writers. And until this morning, these were actually hyperlinkable and they would actually open out to the different pages. I don't know why they're not right now. But so this tool is interesting because it just kind of helps us think differently. Because I think one of the biggest areas people get stuck is just trying to ideate around like, who should I reach out to, right? So that's this purpose here. And then let's say you reach out to, I don't know, Wilderness Watch, and you ask for an informational interview. And so, okay, now we're going to come in here. You're going to go have your informational interview, which if you're familiar, does everyone in the chat, like, are we familiar? If you are, of course, if you're in the collective, we know what an informational interview is or no? Okay, I'm seeing a yes, but if you're a no, speak up. So basically, the idea here is that it's like having a curious conversation with an organization to see if they have a need for grant writing research and writing services. And so it's this very, like, you're not looking for something, there's no expectation of anything coming from it, you're just building your network, being very curious and seeing, hey, can I help them? Because most organizations don't have all this knowledge baked in, or they're chasing grants haphazardly, et cetera. So in terms of everybody that's like all fired up about beta testing, let's go find the Erica or Alex. There was the form, the original form, Google form we had. Yeah, you want to go get that and let's put that in here and then people can fill it out. Okay, so here it is. Like I fill in the business information. Like if I had this whole conversation, which actually I filled out this one. I did the discovery call. Or did I? No, I didn't do it because I did it for the client onboarding. Anyway, so if we look at this, like the questions are, what are you looking to get grant funded? Does this project or program already exist? What funding sources have you secured thus far, if any? What problem are you addressing, right? Like these are the questions you're asking to gauge A, if this organization's ready, and B, if there's actually a need for you to help serve them, right? So you're filling all of this out in your conversation, well, like after your conversation, because I want you just to record it and listen and be present. So what I ended up doing was taking an old conversation I'd had and I put it into the kickoff call. So this would be like first step, right? We're getting underway with the client. Like we've already contracted, which I'm skipping a step. Let me back up. I gotta slow down. So what came from this was I want to consolidate informational interview and discovery call because they ask a lot of the same information. So like I said, you're seeing a very messy version. But what can happen is if I had filled that out with the conversation that I'd had with a client, it can generate for me my funding strategy contract. Because where a lot of us get stuck is we spend way too much time getting hung up on the wording and all of that around writing our funding strategy. So sorry, you're not getting a demo of that because I'm not sure I even want to keep it. But let's say I got the contract, right? So, and this project was for a $6,000 funding strategy in the city of Valdez. And so I went in here and I'm filling in notes. It's really messy from the kickoff call with the client. But I'd also found the master plan. And so I went in and copied from the city of Valdez master plan and just pasted it in here. And if you look at my notes, like look at all these typos and like weird symbols. That came because I was copying it out of this like PDF form that kind of boogered it up. But I was like, I don't know, I'm going to put it in messy and see what happens. Like how, because the whole point is that we waste all this time trying to make our writing really, really clean right off the bat, right? So I just was like, let's see what happens. I'd never done this before. And I didn't even completely fill it out. I filled out like certain sections. Who are they collaborating with? What's this project expected to cost? Other notes. I linked in the master plan itself. And then, so after I'm done adding my notes, I'm going to hit save. Okay, now I'm going to go into the project planning toolkit. This is a resource that you can provide your client. Really, it's more valuable for you. It is the bare bones, essentially, of what forms any grant narrative that you're going to write, right? It's what are you doing? Who do you serve? What's it going to cost? And so it can be very helpful. And actually, do I have Courtney here? Is Courtney on the line? You can unmute if you are.
Hi.
Yay. Okay. Where'd you go? I needed to pop your face up. Speak up. Okay. Can everyone see Courtney? Okay. There you are. I'm going to pin you. Oh, I can't. I'm not a host. Okay. So Courtney, I can describe the project planning toolkit, but you actually just use this with your client because we talked about it yesterday and had like way really an interesting interaction with going deeper. So can you speak to how you've used this tool
Yeah,
with your client?
absolutely.
Okay.
So one of my biggest challenges is getting up to speed fast on programs and projects for a new client, and that can really hold you back from being able to bring on more clients quickly if you're not even able to produce grants yet because you're still kind of in the weeds of learning what they do. So I
Mhm.
kind of flipped the script a little bit, and I didn't have the kickoff call first, but I had collected all of these awarded grants that have been awarded in the last 2 years, so they were all relevant, and I copy from those awards into the Copilot around a very specific project. So it was a youth arts council. That was going to be the first grant that I was going to work on with this client. And then it generated this project planning toolkit that I was able to bring into my actual kickoff call for the grant. And we went through it. Excuse me. And I was able to review it with them and confirm, what things had changed about the project, if I understood the true purpose and impact, clarified project details. So I got to walk away from that kickoff call with literally all the information I needed to write a grant and a lot of base language I could use as a jumping off point. So what normally would have taken me probably 4 or 5, maybe even 6 hours to get up to speed on a client's program, I was able to do it in less than an hour because that call with the client ended up taking 30 minutes. It was super easy
Snaps,
and
anybody?
amazing.
She took, how many hours did we just save? Love it, right? It's trying to take the sucky parts out of this work, right? The stuff that's really time consuming. Yes, thank you, Courtney. That's so powerful. And then I think what you said yesterday just resonated with me so much, was saying that like you just cut to a deeper conversation. You got out of the superficial high level stuff. And I totally know what you're talking about when I'm trying to just make sense of what a new client does. So yeah, so you can see like I'm generating answers based on, and I didn't even completely fill out the kickoff call, right? But I'm like generating it, I'm pulling up, okay, what's it going to say? And they're not all perfect answers, right? Like I might not like this and I need to edit something. Thank you so much, Courtney. I so appreciate you just adding context. But let's say like, for instance, I don't know, let's see what it says for project cost when it's done. Let's say I want to edit how we'll measure project impact. So I can come in here and hit edit, and then it's immediately editable. I can add new text directly into here, right? And save it. If I didn't like the way it populated something, like for instance, you know how sometimes I think one of the worst things that AI does is just write really flowery and really fluffy. So I could say, can you please write this more concisely? I could say that in an inline prompt, and then it would regenerate, right? So I'm not going to run the whole thing, but look at how it broke out. It's so funny. It broke out the cost of all these different projects, right? This is more thorough than my answer. Okay, so what I'm going to do is scroll to the bottom or top. I'm going to hit options. This role, I'm still kind of figuring this stuff out, I'll be real, but the role essentially would be like when you're trying to write in a certain way, like you're trying to write like your client, or you're trying to write maybe more professionally or maybe more creatively, depending on who the funder is, you can put that here. The creativity of the response, if it's like a 0, then it's going to be really concise, really like tight. And obviously the higher the number is, the more creative it's going to be. So let's say I'm happy with the answers. I'm ready to go like get this into a Google Doc and share it with my client. So I can export it to a Google Doc, and it actually, I already did this earlier. That's why it's showing what I've already put in here, but I'm gonna, when it's done loading, because this isn't everything that I had put in there. So what it does is it's put it in my control copy, right? It's on, what's that called, everybody? I'm forgetting the word. Like it's basically saved. And now I get to come in here and go Control V, and it's pasting in everything else that I'd already missed, right? So I have this document, which I don't know about you, but like, thank you, clipboard, basic words. This is the thing. Sometimes I forget really simple words. It's fascinating. But this document, like this already looks like the bones of a grant narrative. Am I right? Like, and now I've got something that I can bring to that client immediately, to your point, in reverse, if you want, for the kickoff call, and have a more meaningful conversation. Am I understanding what needs to be done? Is this accurate, right? And you can just start editing right from here, et cetera. If you're someone that's just like, I'm not going to edit in this thing, this is just a little bit too confusing, right? So you get to kind of DIY that based on your workflow. So is everyone like tracking on what we're talking about here? Like kind of the essence of how this is working? Yes or no, I'm lost. Okay. That's so funny, Kyrie, that you think I'm acting so chill. Because when I went to that freaking meditation sound bath today, I was like, oh my gosh, I think I'm having an anxiety attack. I don't know what to do. Should I just run out of here? I was like, why am I anxious? I'm like, I think I'm nervous. So I think it's because I went to a meditation this morning. It chilled me out. Okay, so that's that piece. Then the next part is the funding strategy, which is like core to how we operate. Like we can't start writing grants till we know what we're going to go after. This is what needs the most love to be able to generate a funding strategy. I already kind of tinkered in here, like we have the format for you, right? The summary, what's the funding research process? How did we, what are our next steps? I had actually already done this funding strategy, so I put some information in here to see how it would compare what I had already done with the answer. This is a ways off because I was having us spend so much time trying to solve problem number A, which was how do you find clients? And so here's sort of you're probably wondering, this looks great. Your living room looks really clean. Like, what's the issue, right? But this is the messy part. What I realized was the power of AI presently is in writing, as a writing tool fundamentally, not as a marketing and business development tool. So I was spending a lot of time and having the team beta focus really hard on this top part, right? Like, how do you actually come up with organizations and et cetera? And when we did this little pop-up group with the beta testers yesterday morning, they also agreed, like, is this actually saving us a lot of time? Or like, for instance, writing the emails, they were too verbose, right? Like if I right now just have it generate an email, this isn't what I would teach you. I would teach you a much more concise email than what it's going to prompt you on. And so my takeaway is I kind of think we have to kill this part of trying to have this tool help you find clients, because what we teach within the course curriculum itself directly within the collective is excellent. And it's just got massively updated. And it's, I think, still faster, because the whole point isn't just to make ourselves more busy, right? Or have this become a distraction, fancy busy work. And instead, where I think there's a lot more magic is, hey, let's really dial in this second part of delivering client work. And then specifically the third question, which is grant writing, the part that can be so hard, right? So you can see, like, this is not an email I would write. Like, I don't even garden. Where did it come up with that answer, right? So you can get the idea that, like, this is just where I think I thought it would be in a better place, if you will. Like, it's all perfect and ready for you. And then 2 days ago, had my little crisis realizing, like, this is the wrong application of AI right now. So I don't know if that makes any sense, because it felt weird even 2 days ago, feeling like, actually, have we made this like epic failure? And I'm going to be sharing that with everybody. But I mean, I think you can see that, like, it's not a failure. This is pioneering a new country, and we've got to like try things out and maybe be like, dead end, back up, let's go down a different path, because this stuff, like the client onboarding, client work tools, are freaking awesome. So that's that for a demo. I could spend a lot more time in there, but I think that is sufficient for now, because we've got a lot of other things to talk about. Let's get into that. Are we ready? Not a failure. This is great. Thank you, Theta. Appreciate it. Yeah, I just wanted to like let you all see the messiness, right? Take a deep breath. Well done. Thank you, Kelsey. I know I'm actually getting hot. I'm wearing a belly shirt for you guys, because I don't know if you knew, but we got a baby that's about to pop out here. So, and I always get hot public speaking. So, okay. So the takeaways: we're not using AI in the most effective way for marketing and business development. And therefore, I want to focus on the other pieces, which is delivering client work and grant writing, right? So that's our main takeaway. Wherever you find yourself on this scale, and I threw in a photo of Holly. I don't know if Holly's here, but she's literally just become an AI prompt engineer and a grant writer in her program. And it's like, I put her way over here on the innovator scale. And so, like, if you're an early adopter, you're early majority, or you're a late majority, you're like, you know what, you go figure it out. And when you've got this totally dialed, let me know. That's our role. That's our role, to take you from years and years and condense that into months, or tens of hours and condense it into an hour, right? So let's get into update number 2, which is course updates, because there was a couple things leading into this. One, building this tool gets you to think about the course content you teach, and there were emerging themes coming through the summer, and it was just becoming really apparent that there was a lot of confusion around what to charge and how to contract. And so that led to a pricing workshop in August. Who was here for that? That was internal for members of the collective. Yeah, I see some hands up. So that led to the development of cake pricing contracts, which I'm not going to go into crazy detail, but this is the essence of it. So listen carefully. So essentially the idea is that your cake, the bready part of your cake, is the retainer or the monthly retainer or a lump sum fee that you bill against over a set period of time. Okay. So like, for instance, I had a contract with Tanana Chiefs Conference here in Alaska, and it was a $45,000 contract every year, and we would bill against it as the projects came up. So I could count on the revenue of that 45K, right? So that would be like your cake. Okay, we can count on it. We know how much revenue is coming in. Then we've got the frosting, because who wants a cake without frosting? And that is our contingency budget, because one of the biggest downsides of working with clients or retainers is the scope creep. So things getting like bigger than you originally planned, or if your client is being slow and not responsive, you're not getting things until the minute before they're due. Like, why should that dig into your profit margins? Because they're not being dialed and highly responsive. So when we can add 20 to 25% of the total contract amount in your retainer or lump sum as a contingency budget, billed against only when it's needed. So it's not like you're going to bill it if they don't need it. It's just there if you need it, so you don't have to stop work. That solved literally like 99% of the problem, so that you now have this very, very simple method, which we call the cake pricing method. That all of that information, that's like the, I don't know, Reader Digest version, is in the course videos now. So these are all new from video 5 down to video 11. So simplifying how we talk about contracting, the types of contracts, what to charge updated for 2024, FAQs, business planning. So like how to really plan, what do I need to have the life I want to have to live that vision board, some belief upgrade work, because I can tell you what to do, but if we've got a belief block, we won't do it, right? And then how to get paid, which is updated because I was getting checks and now you don't have to get paid by check. So anyway, the resources, then there's a couple new templates in here, right? So we've got these templates, and on my wish list, because I did the work for the AI tool, it just didn't work, is like to actually help you ask a series of questions and it would auto generate for you a starter contract. So that's on my wish list. Don't know when I promise that'll roll out, but I've got it sorted out pretty well. Okay, so that's contracting and pricing. So massive updates in there. Then we also updated the organic networking framework, which actually comes first. And this is to answer the question of how do I find clients? However, I also needed to address, for those of you that join us that are a nonprofit grant writer, you're not looking to find clients. How is this relevant to you? That is how I retooled this to look at it for your use case. So the new videos in here are video 2, 3, 5, because we've got a lot of FAQs, and how to dodge doing fancy busy work, right? Below that are a series of audits that are cleaned up. And this is that project that I just used in the demo, where I had this discovery call with a client in Valdez. It resulted in a $6,000 funding strategy, totally left money on the table. Of what I recommend, I give you the contract, I give you the subcontractor agreements, I give you the deliverables to the client, everything is all in there. So go get it. It's a good example. Then that led to over $20,000 contract for a single grant application. I ended up actually passing that to friends here in Anchorage because I didn't have time to do it. And they wrote the first grant we recommended, which was a $2.5 million grant from the Economic Development Administration, which was COVID money. So like it has come and gone. And if they hadn't done their funding strategy, that would have passed by them. And 2.5 million is kind of no joke, right? Like that's a pretty significant amount of money to support a park development project. So that's in there. Everyone with me so far? I know I got a lot to cover. Okay. Then this is really important for members of the collective that are here, because why would you go back into onboarding? You've already onboarded, right? Go back into onboarding. So go in there and go watch video 4 and video 5, because what we are rolling out are daily non-negotiables. So this is literally the workshop that we had when the whole team was together in Bend last month. It was a really powerful conversation. So what is a non-negotiable? So it is about identifying the keystone activities when you are consistent doing those activities, your goals are going to happen. It's not a matter of if they happen, it's when. And it's about figuring out keystone. So the keystone is like that top little rock in an archway. Like, obviously there's a ton of things that you can put pressure on yourself to do every single day, but what are actually the select few that make the difference? And we actually got that down to just 3 things you need to do a day to completely crush your goals in the collective. And that is in that video. Okay. So I want you to now link up to the search chat buddy. Erica, I'm going to talk about this, but where are you, girlfriend? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here and we're ready. I'm ready when you are.
Sweet. This is good. Okay. Okay. So basically, when I was at that mastermind in Kelowna, and they're all these like smart people are making sense of AI for me, one of them is a spinoff from like basically the most famous online community creators, I'd say, in like the world. And he recognized this problem of people ask a lot of the same questions because they can't navigate actually how much information you have. We have 3 years of coaching calls. That's a lot of information. Hours of course training videos. There's thousands of questions and comments and circles. So Circle, that's where we host our community. So how are you supposed to efficiently find answers to your questions that probably have already been answered, right? So that was the theory that we were trying to sort out. So meet your chat buddy, which is not Erica, it's Sparkles. I just didn't have a picture of her right now. So we need to name this tool, but basically this is an AI search tool within Circle. So it's not just pulling up what exists in the comments, but it's allowing us to navigate to coaching calls, like to specific minutes in the coaching call, and find that course content easier. So I'm going to stop sharing so Erica can give you a tour. Erica is, while she pulls up her screen, is our community manager. So everyone give Erica some love if you know our community. Yeah, we love Erica. She is also Alex's sister, fun fact, a dancer, professional dancer. And if you ever need someone to like give you style points, go to Erica. All right, give us a tour.
Thank you, Meredith. Hello, everybody. So happy to be here, and I'm excited to show you this new tool. So basically, meet Sparkles, and because we love all things unicorn, I chose the icon that I think is technically a chess piece, but looks like a unicorn. So he just lives, or she lives, on our website, our homepage and our community. And this is actually a sneak peek into where like your course content, your community, your discussion boards, all your juicy information is. So basically, if you have a question that you want to ask, you can click this little guy. I hope. Oh. Uh-oh. Okay.
Uh-oh. Why is it popping up?
Meredith, do you want to take it back?
Erica, that was the problem I was having that I messaged you about.
Oh, because it just went live literally yesterday. Yeah. Don't ask me. Ask Erica.
Okay, let's see. Let me give it a refresh.
You want to pull it up in Searchy instead? Because that could be like your backup plan, I guess.
Let me just stop share for 1 second and then I'll bring it right back up.
I had that
literally just
earlier.
rolled it out yesterday, so it's a little messy. What was that?
I had that problem earlier and I just refreshed my page and it worked fine.
And it worked? Okay, sweet. Yeah, there's definitely, it's definitely still has a few kinks to work out. Let me roll down. I think there were some others that saw it. I didn't have it show up in mine, but yeah, you think a pop-up blocker was the issue. Ooh, and we all have those. Worked from one browser, but not in another. So interesting. Yes. Sweet. And Sydney, you saw the post 30 minutes ago and it's working when you clicked on your phone. That's awesome. So yeah, hopefully it behaves for Erica. Give her a sec. Is that working, Erica?
Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up on Searchy, just so you guys can see it, and then I'm gonna go continue troubleshooting with our AI tech support. But basically, this is what Sparkles looks like. So he says Sparkles Unicorn Assist and an AI bot being trained in all things grant writing. So what just Meredith said, our hours of coaching calls, all our course content, and then you're able to ask him questions. So you can see I was practicing yesterday, and one of the questions I love is, how do I know who to contact? And the cool thing about this is I'm just going to pull up real quick. So you can ask
contacting for informational interviews, just so everyone knows, like, who do I contact to have a curious conversation? Yeah.
And so then it's going to take a sweet little eclipse moment and it's going to pull up all the information and it's going to tag directly to previous coaching calls, any course content. So while Sparkles is thinking,
Yeah, I'll jump in on this too, Erica. Because
Okay.
one of the issues we all know with ChatGPT is that like it's not, do we even know, it's making stuff up a lot of times, right? On what it thinks is the next best, the correct answer. So it's like, is this even factual? Whereas this is only trained on our material. So it has to come from something that was real and referenceable, which is a big difference from just like Googling something and chat or using ChatGPT. Okay, let's see what the answer is.
Okay, so how do I know who to contact? So it's going to give you several different ways. Call the organization's general phone number, search the organization's name on LinkedIn, utilize your network and update your LinkedIn profile, look for the organization's Form 990, check their website, target directors, explore websites like great nonprofits, use tools like MailScoop. And I love this piece of advice, like remember warm introductions from your existing network are often the best way to find the right contacts. But what I really love about this is that it's actually going to reference to the videos exactly. So you can pull up and it'll directly link to whatever it is, and it's going to give you the timestamp. So if we click on this, and it should pop up, it's going to bring you exactly to that moment
Pages,
in
boy, they can be a
time.
bit of a black.
Where they're specifically talking about that question. So just a really, really helpful tool. So that is one session, and I think these are already loaded, so I'm just going to give you one more. But like, how do I create a budget? And this is, I put this in yesterday, so it's just remembering, but it's going to give you like the step-by-steps for creating a budget. And I think we can all like maybe drop in the chat if you're budget friendly or budget nay friendly. But once again, it's just going to give you a step-by-step. So if you're getting stuck somewhere in the course content, you can use Sparkles to kind of help you through that first hurdle. And that way the questions we're asking the coaches are building upon the questions that we're asking. And the other thing I love about it too is like what happens like if you have a question on a Saturday, one of our values is like we don't work on the weekends. So now if you have a question on a Saturday, you can ask this question and hopefully it just like doesn't let your progress stop. So you're just continuously moving forward. So yeah, and then once again, it's going to bring you your references. We had an awesome grant budget workshop. And so like, it's just going to bring you exactly to the point where you need to be. So yeah, meet Spark,
cool.
everybody.
Sweet. Yay. Well, thank you I'm just like loving this chat about how you guys are fired up about it. Cause the biggest thing we actually had to ask you was like, this is an experiment. So if you don't like it, you don't feel like it's getting you a good reaction, like we're giving it 30 days. And if we don't like it, we'll just keep using circle search function, which is also very impressive. But yeah, it's cool that you guys are already jumping in and using it within hours of it being there. I think that's a really good sign. So for anyone that's not, I think that if you're in the collective, you understand like the power of this because there's so much information and you're trying to find it. And if you're not, it's because you don't know how much information is in here that we're trying to navigate. So that's so cool. Thank you. Yay. Okay, that's a wrap on autumn updates anyway. And so we've reached a fork in the road. If you're a member of the collective, you're totally welcome to go and bounce because we're going to be talking about what the collective is for those that have not been here. But before you go, I think it'd be really helpful if you could share in a sentence or two how the collective has impacted you for those that are not a member, and throw that in the chat would be really helpful. Make sure we're getting water and then we'll roll into the next piece. But yeah, that was a lot of stuff to demo. It was amazing. And you know what's crazy is this is literally just a matter of like a couple months with a tiny little team. So really cool. Okay. So yes, you just want to get the Halloween candy with all these cake photos. I know, as you can tell, we're not shy around sweets. We love our sweets around here. Yeah. So Nicole, it just keeps getting better and better. Annual revenue of your grant consulting biz tripled. Yeah. Elaine has crushed it. And you all will actually see an example of her business played out in a lot of those new course videos, which is really cool. Yay. Okay, so let's do it. Y'all can read the chat questions yourself. Thank you, everyone that came. That's from the collective. Can't wait to see you inside circle. And for everybody else, let's talk about the collective. Okay, so the way to think about it, because it's a lot, it's a professional membership to build your career in grant writing. And if you like alliteration as much as I do, think about it as 4 C's: curriculum, certificate, coaching, and community. And I'll take those one by one. Who's it for? It's for the burnt out professional that's looking for a fulfilling and flexible career. Within that, we tend to have 3 subsegments. We have a lot of parents, like moms specifically, nearing retirees. So like don't want to do the 9 to 5, but still want to be making money and making a difference. And young professionals that have like done one rodeo in the professional work life. And you're like, really, this is it. Most come to us wanting to explore freelancing. Not that you necessarily know exactly what you want to do. You might end up taking some experience freelancing and then land a new job or get a promotion, etc. 10% are existing consultants like Elaine, who came in with already making $100,000 in her business or something at that point, and you were like just really hitting her ceiling and she wanted to figure out how to punch through that. And then 10% come in that are already nonprofit grant writers. Okay, how does it work? So you already saw the onboarding screenshot of where I added the non-negotiables, but this is what rolled out in August, and it's so cool. So you get your own curriculum track based on how you fill out the survey. So when you tell me what you want to do and what your goals are, you're only going to get the curriculum content and a pathway that's unique for your goals versus seeing a ton of things that might not be relevant. So the core design of the program is centered around earning and learning, right? I want you to get real paid experience because I think that's how we actually learn more. I don't know about you, but I'm not a theory person. I need to do things to learn things. And that is the essence of like how you go through the material. Now, coaching. So coaching calls happen every 2 weeks. I think our next call is tomorrow. At last count, when I was putting this deck together, we're 648 community members. 3 people joined yesterday though, so a few more than that. We have 6 coaches. We have a book club, which is led by unicorns, which is awesome because then I just get to come to something I don't have to organize. And then we promise you bonus trainings quarterly, but lately we've been doing them every month. So I'm not going to promise monthly, but we've been doing monthly for like the whole year. And the bonus training this week, I'm so fired up about it, is Victoria Song. If you follow me at all, you know I'm a broken record about this woman because she completely transformed my life. This time last year, I had a lot of issues with, I mean, this is just like TMI, but like being angry and controlling and just a lot of fear and lost and kind of down. And I just like didn't know how to deal with all of these emotions. And then through this book, I was able to actually learn like how to transmute those. And I feel like a completely different person a year later. In fact, I think we've mailed out a bunch of copies. Who has a copy of this book? Like if you do, I think I've given it to several of you. I have a bunch. Anyway, so she's going to be here on Friday. And so if anyone that joins between now and tomorrow, end of day, I will mail you a copy of her book and add a little note inside of it for you. Okay, so the reason most people find themselves on the fence, because I've had hundreds of conversations and I can see the themes, are cost, time, not believing in yourself, wondering if this is a scam, or not sure you're going to like it. So let's just take those one by one. So cost, $500 a month for 12 months is the price point of the collective membership. And then it goes month to month, stay as long as you want. My goal is to serve you for 3 years because that's how long I know it takes to get you to your full like revenue and lifestyle goals. It's an investment, absolutely. If you're comparing this to like a car payment, this is a fraction of what it would take to go back to grad school, which is not going to be showing you how to actually make money with that fancy grad degree. So whether you're trying to make your first 15K and it's going to be a side hustle, moving along in parallel to your life, or you're coming in with already an existing consulting business and you're looking to triple it, this curriculum can get you there. So that's cost. We rolled out 6 months ago a pretty freaking juicy guarantee. So when you sign up, you get full access to the program. You can come to a coaching call, go ask a question, make a friend, all of that, right? If you decide within 5 business days at the end of the month that you don't think it's the best place on the internet, let us know and we will let you exit your contract. So you only had to commit to 1 month to see everything in the collective and decide if it was right for you. I have looked at guarantees for Holly Rustick's program, Krista Kerlunkas's, Mandy Person. They say basically no refund. There is no guarantee. It's just they believe in their program too. So they just say like, when you're in, and there is no refund at all. So recognize that like we are the only people that actually have a guarantee like this, because it's really not a matter of if you're going to make your money back. It's a matter of when and by how much. And we're speeding that whole process up with non-negotiables, right? All that said, I do know that a lot of you are dealing with some significant financial hardship, because I've been having some really interesting conversations in my LinkedIn DMs. So if that is the case, I need you to take this email down, email info@senworks.org, send the keyword minicorn, and you can see if you qualify for our scholarship program, which is completely revamped and improved, and it's absolutely lovely. So talk to Rose about that if everything checks out, but there's definitely some unique financial hardship situations that you're facing. Okay, so time. I need 5 hours a week for you to be able to move the needle in a really meaningful way. This assumes you have a full-time job. I assume you have a family, you're volunteering, you have a life, right? Like that's just because grant writers are not boring people, we're multi-potentialites. And if you go look at your phone and look at the time data, I bet you could see that like we could just give up social media for 5 hours a week and we'd be there. But what I find is the flip side of the time question is and raise your hand if this is you, because I am the same way. You want to start the program perfectly, as if that will dictate if you're a success or not. So you want to have everything like the stars are aligned, there's spaciousness in your schedule, right? All of these things. But I'm telling you, even if you start perfectly in like a moment of like a couple weeks of your life are just calm, welcome to just like your life is going to throw you plot twists. Maybe like a kid gets sick. Maybe you've got to go take care of a parent. Maybe like something is going to happen. And that's why it's designed as a year-round program, knowing that you're going to have some ebbs and flows. The thing about the momentum flywheel is that it doesn't care when you think you're perfectly ready to go. Like it takes 6 months for all of this information to get into your brain and for kind of like the universe to get the memo that you're serious. And why I have this picture of Faiza here is because she joined completely burned out from the university job, just incredibly burnt out. And she said, I'm not starting a freelance business yet. I just need to heal her nervous system and recover from being burned out, but she was going to still like absorb what she could. Right. So she did that for a full year. And then when she hit month 12, she's like, okay, I feel recovered. I'm ready to do this. And her first contract was a $16,000 funding or $16,000 contract for a federal grant. They literally sent the proposal back within 30 minutes of her sending it. Like she left money on the table for sure. And like she literally writes millions and millions and millions of dollars of grants. And she said that like the consulting business itself just took off with such ease because she granted herself kind of like, I'm going to go at this at my own pace, right? So there's that. The other question that I see a lot is not believing in yourself. So the person that's inspiring this, I saw her here earlier, so I don't know if she's still here or not. I'm not calling you out. I've got a pseudo name, but we're going to call her Lucy because her situation is very, very common. A lot of you have this, so like own it if you do. So Lucy was lurking for 18 months. She'd watched all of our YouTube videos. She was volunteering, like seemingly doing the right things, had found a mentor, had come to 2 Q&A calls, and she was just like getting nowhere and getting very frustrated because 18 months have passed and she still has yet to really gain experience and certainly any money. So I told her, I was like, you're looking for these certain answers from me, but I know I realized, I was like, it's not about the methodology, if it's going to work for you or any of your questions. It's about like, do you believe in yourself to do this? And she did it. And I said, so you need to like tap into that. And basically I said, if you have kids in the background, earmuffs, I said like shit or get off the pot because I'm going to unsubscribe you if you don't join. So she joined. And in the first week, in her second informational interview, she got a proposal. So she's made 3K already. She's got 2 or 3 contracts that are already out right now. And because I am so proud of the work she's doing and I trust her and I think she's just like I'm very impressed, I am giving her one of my pet projects that I wanted to have a funding strategy done for. And I'm going to like do that next week. We're going to pass that off to her. So like, look at how much has happened for her in literally like 2 months. Like she joined in late September versus the previous 18 by just that shift of like believing in herself. But here's the thing, like we all have beliefs that get in our way, right? And so here's literally a screenshot. This is part of your daily non-negotiable where I'm going to show you like how to do belief upgrade work in a tangible way. So I have this accountability buddy, and every single day we text each other in WhatsApp, an old belief and a new belief. So this was literally mine from yesterday. Okay, this slide deck for tomorrow's training is all over the place. Is it even an appropriate and effective way to talk about the collective? I don't feel confident. And then I'm like, okay, my new beliefs are my slide deck is awesome. I'm going to have a blast with the real talk. Imperfection is more relatable. I love being imperfect. Having our members there is going to pump me up hugely because I love the energy they bring. It's unusual, but this is a good time to experiment, right? I am realizing this is a celebration too. It's incredible that we get done as a small team in a short amount of time, what we do. This event is going to blow it out of the water, right? So I had to do some like belief work to get ready for today. And this is the kind of thing that like we all have upper limits on what we believe is possible for us. So by doing active upgrade work and healing, then we get to unlock our next like highest and best versions of ourselves. Is that making sense? Like the potency here, it's game changing. Okay. So yeah, the whole team is down doing it as well. It works. I feel like I started this process in late August, and I think I've made more changes in the last couple months in my beliefs and my reality than years. Okay. Another question we sometimes get is, no offense, but is this even legit? Is this a scam? And I used to take great offense to this because I was interpreting that to mean like, are you a scam, right? I was making my identity around that. But I realized like the internet is a weird place. I get it. There's a lot of people good at marketing, but then like, is it actually good when you're in the program? Blah, 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 right? So I get it. So utilize the guarantee if you're this type of a person that just like is inherently skeptical, just come in and see it. And then you can find out for yourself that it's the real deal. Last question. Not sure you're going to like grant writing. And here's the deal. No amount of analysis and thinking is going to reveal the answer to you. The only way you're going to figure this out is if you get paid work and you do the work. You figure it out, right? And I just want to paint the worst case scenario. You hate grant writing. 5% of our members at the end of the year decide to go do something else. And when we ask them, would you still recommend this program to somebody else? They still give us an 8.6 on the, what's that called? The Net Promoter Score. So it's the same score as those that stay give us because they used what they learned, the organic networking framework, to land their actual dream job. Or they learned modern project management skills that opened a new door for them. Right? Like they gathered and gained so much more than that they did the belief work. They learned how to self-care, learned how to celebrate wins, right? There was so much more than just even deciding, did I want to become a grant writer or not? That they're still like, yeah, we're happy. It was a great year, right? So here's just like some quick screenshots I went and grabbed last night from the community group. Here, Barbara is turning an internship where they said, let's see, I wanted to read this to you. Basically, they want to turn her into an employee. So they said, how much does she need to make to stay on as a contract employee? And she said, without the course, she never would have gotten this job. And we just released a negotiation training. Here's Joel. So like he quit his job. He just got a bunch of retainers on contract basis. And he was celebrating by leasing an office, which is awesome. I know Jess is here or was here, and she just got an office as well. Christina, so she just had an informational interview with a super cool company. And what do you know? She says, next thing, I had 2 contracts waiting in my inbox. Like, how did that just happen? Or Stephanie, same, like just had her second informational interview and the pain points were exactly what the course outlined, like exactly. And she'll be sending over a proposal, and to celebrate, she was having ice cream. Oh, I think I missed that one. Oh, I guess I kind of goofed up my formatting. You can't see it, but there was a couple others in there. Anyway, so bottom line, you're invited to join us. We would love to have you if you've been on the fence about joining the collective. Again, if you join by today or tomorrow, I can mail you a copy of Victoria Song's book, and join by next Wednesday. And that is our cutoff for some super fun bonuses. One of which is Pen to Polished, a writing course specifically for grant writers. If you went to our website and tried to buy that right now, it's $750. A mindset workshop, free enrollment in the Earn and Learn Accelerator, which I know I'm running out of time on the top of the hour, but basically what that is starting, Erica, is it starting Friday or Monday?
Friday the 15th.
Friday the 15th. So on Friday the 15th, that's starting. It's going to be a 30-day accelerator to help you get, do you want to talk about it just really quick? Like you take two sentences.
I also lied. It's Friday the 17th. Definitely Friday, wrong teenth. So basically it's going to be like an onboarding cohort for you guys. We find that the members who like truly have success really dive deep into the collective. And so the whole purpose of this cohort is going to be to get you really familiarized with Circle, how to utilize the collective, how to utilize your course content, and give you markers in that first month. And so that we really set you up for success in the beginning so that flywheel momentum can take you forward. I'm really excited about it. I'll sort of be your host, and then I'll be bringing in different people to help set up and like what I call their zone of geniuses. And every single week you'll have like requirements you need to do and then homework to leave off with. And I think the most exciting part is that you're also going to be like, we're going to split you up into groups of 4 at the end. So you're going to have a small group of accountability buddies. People, I can't stress this enough. The more you can connect with the members in the collective, the more magical your experience is and the more success you find. And that's what we want for you. So I'm really excited about it. If you join by the 15th, I think is our cutoff for the date, you get to join the cohort and it's going to be a great time.
Yay. Thank you for that. And the last bonus and gift would be, I'm going to send you my very favorite business book if you join by next Wednesday at midnight. If you still have questions, and I am going to go ahead and answer as many as I can in the chat, but I do want to respect everyone's time because I'm Swiss. So top of the hour, we're going to be done. But I will answer everyone's questions. But if you still have some, tomorrow we have a Q&A session. Rose, how are we giving people do we have like the form for that? Do you want to drop that in the chat?
Hey everyone, yeah, I'll just send you a direct link for joining me tomorrow.
Okay.
Let's have some coffee. Otherwise you'll get an email with that link as well.
Okay. Yeah. So do that or DM me on LinkedIn if you want to ask there. So I want to know in the chat right now, what's your number one takeaway from today? And while you do that, I'm going to go make sure I go catch up on all the questions that I missed. But yes, definitely. No, you can't bring your spouse to everything. Though we do have a lot of couples that are in the program, or dad daughters, or yeah, which is actually kind of fun, like whole families that end up becoming consultants. But yeah, this is just so we can answer your questions if this is a big, family budget decision. But yeah, what's the major takeaway? Karen, our systems can save you a ton of time. Yes, make your money faster. Cool. I'm going to stop sharing so I can see these, and we'll put us all in gallery mode so I can see your faces, which is way fun. Yes, AI can actually be used for good rather than evil. Totally. I'm with you. Okay. How much? Yeah, what's your next step? So yeah, can someone go get the join link? We should put that in the chat box. Give that to Mary Alice. Okay, let me roll up and make sure I'm answering questions because we have time. And if you've got to bounce, you're totally welcome to go. But I'm going to make sure that since we're already here, let's just take them where we can. So I'm going to roll. Let's see. Tell me where am I at? Let's see. So I'm going to start at Francine's question. And then Alex, if I missed some, let me know. Our date set for the conference in 2024. So we ended up pulling, not doing the retreat for Alaska next August because it just was not flowing at all. There was lots of resistance just on logistics. And that's partly because Alaskans are difficult to do business with, I swear. But so we are thinking though about some creative things of where we might be able to all rally in Denver late, like around Halloween next year. So that's all I'm going to say about it because it's too early stage, but I had like a really fun creative thought. So that might be how we can all get together. Okay. So who else has a question? I'm thinking about trying to see if I got
Yeah,
these.
I think Gina's question is great. So Gina asked, interested to hear how experienced in-house employed grant writers use what Learn Grant Writing offers.
Yes, because you want to continue. So Gina, you can unmute if you need to. Is that because you're also looking, like, what is your main struggle within your job, what that you're trying to solve for?
Well, I'm trying, I am one of those near retirees, but I'm not ready to give up my day job yet. And would like to, and I've done consulting in the past, but I'm liking what I hear here and see here. But I'm not ready to give up the day job yet.
You don't need to. I mean, just move them along in parallel. So basically keep the full-time job. And that's what I tell you, because sometimes if people quit too early, they actually put themselves in like a contractive state of like, I have to make this work. And then that pressure actually can kill opportunities. So yeah, keep the full-time job, but then move in parallel the side hustle. And even like we have people that have done this where they're actually subcontracting even on their very first project to get help to deliver the work. So you're still making money from like getting these projects done. You're still like the project leader, but you can even bring in another unicorn to work with that can help you get the work done so that you're not just putting in like insane hours. But do that until you hit the tipping point, and you'll know when that is. It'll be obvious. Everyone always asks like, when do you know when to quit your job? And I'm like, you'll know. And you'll have a big enough pipeline that you're feeling like ready and comfortable and you're ready to make that leap.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And specifically, we want people to make fully like 15K in freelance earnings first, and then use that money to set up a business properly. And then once we hit 50K, then we get to 100, right? Like it's all very step-by-step in terms of how to do that. Okay. So that was a great question though. Thank you. Does anyone else have a question?
Yeah, here's a question, and I think this is not from a Rose, but it's from someone not named Rose. I'm wanting to work with international NGOs. I'm wondering if I will be able to connect with people working internationally here, and also if you will have resources for helping to find funding for international NGOs.
Yeah, definitely. So we have one of our coaches has expertise in international grants. So there's that, you got her. And then we have someone else in the program as well. It's been around for a long time that has a lot of other international grant writing experience as well that you can also book a special time with, like book and get on her calendar if you want some specialized consulting with her. And then heck, we had people on the call right now, like Mira called in from Germany. So I don't even know how late it is for her. So there's a ton of grant writers all over the world. So you can find those people. Like when you get into Circle, we have in the upper left-hand upper left-hand side is a member database, and you can search by location. So, and keyword. So if you're looking, if you search for international or something, you can go find other people that are working in that space.
Not a question, but Carolyn just joined, so I think we should give her a pretty big, warm welcome. So excited.
Oops,
awesome.
sorry.
What?
We'll give you the replay. Yes.
Awesome.
So
okay.
Cool.
We put the link in the Q&A, but let me know if you need that.
Yeah,
Is
no,
there a
yeah,
coupon
definitely.
code
And
for joining today.
yeah, there isn't a code, but we're just tracking the date. So if today you get signed up, I'll get that book out to you. I've got a box in my car ready to go, and a note that I like to add specifically to this book. So very pumped about that. Yay. Okay. Well, thank you everybody for coming. If you've got any questions, hit the email, DM us on LinkedIn. You know where to find us. That's a wrap. Thank you. See ya.